Record. Thank you everyone for jumping on. I don't know if you guys know my friend Todd Falcone, but he is absolutely amazing. He's been in network marketing, I would say over 25 years now. He has several amazing books. One of them is The Fearless Networker. And Todd's been hosting a Monday night team call for about 12 years now. And what I love most about you is that you are so incredibly giving. And I really love that about our industry, is that just people in network marketing are always willing to share and give and throw back, the info. And I love that your Monday night call is open to all. Todd has spoken before hundreds of thousands of people across the world, really. I mean, you are really a sought-after speaker. And what I love most about you is just your, I'm from New York, so I'm like a just give it to me straight type of gal, no BS. And I love that about you. I love that you can just call me and call me out and talk to me about anything really. But I love the way you have taught people about network marketing, right? You kind of take all the fudge out of it and really give it to us straight about what this is and what this isn't. And for the people that are on this call, you guys are in for an amazing, amazing treat. We actually co-authored a book. Ed, wave your hand. Ed was one of the co-authors with
God. What's up, Ed?
Yeah, with Kelly Calabrese and Todd and Ed Golden. And we wrote a book about mom and dad entrepreneurs. So welcome to our call, and I'm so thrilled to have you here tonight.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Good evening. Happy Sunday, everybody. Sunday night. It's cool. Thank you. I feel honored anytime I get a chance to get in front of a group of network marketers that are eager to figure this game out. So do me a favor in the comment section. We're going to do a couple things that are interactive tonight. In the comments, while I'm kind of getting this thing kicked off, give me an idea. How long have you been involved in the network marketing profession? So I want to hear from you real quick. First of all, for those of you who have not seen me speak or heard me speak or know who I am, I've spent, in August, it'll be 30 years in the network marketing space. So long time. My entire business career as an adult has been in the network marketing profession. I've never put together a resume. Do they still do those on paper? I don't even know. Like, how do resumes work? It'd be funny to actually try it. Like, put a resume together. That'd be kind of weird. Entrepreneur. But it's been a really amazing journey for me. 30 years in the network marketing space. The last 15 years I've been speaking full time, independently. I retired as a distributor 15 years ago. I spent all my time traveling around the world, teaching people the things that worked well for me in the field as an independent distributor. I'm intimately familiar with Isagenix. I met Jim and Kathy Coover before Isagenix was even Isagenix. I mean, I met them, I think it was in like 1992 or 1993 in Carmel, California, before your company was even a company. And I've been following you guys for a long time, since the beginning. In fact, I've been an Isagenix product user for probably, 13, 14 years, consistently month in, month out. In fact, I don't think I've ever missed an auto ship in that entire time. So very familiar with you guys, your company, your field leaders, corporate leaders, what you guys have done. And I've spoken probably 30 different times for different Isagenix organizations on stages, as well as Zooms like this. And you guys are in a really, maybe you know this, but if you don't, you're in what I believe is a legacy company, a company where, you don't have to worry about whether the company's going to be in business next month, next year, or 5 years from now, which is not something you can say about every network marketing company. And to see, again, what you guys have accomplished for such an extended period of time is pretty phenomenal. I mean, over $6 billion in cumulative sales. You guys are doing right around close to $1 billion a year, multiple countries. I don't know, 14, 15, 16 countries are in it now. I think to be in the top 100 income earners, you got to be like $300,000 a year or more in earnings. So the quality of the products and the results people get and the quality of the incomes is pretty staggering. So what I want to do for you guys tonight is just talk to you. I've been interviewed quite a bit over the last couple months on a lot of pretty big podcasts, a couple major radio shows, asking about my longevity and my success in the network marketing over the last 3 decades. And this last show that I was on, this guy was asking me, and he's like, well, can you point it out? Can you point your finger on like one thing? And I said, well, I mean, I can, but certainly I just want to say this, like my success in network marketing and entrepreneurship is not just one thing. I would say a couple things. I want to point this out to you, because if you're here tonight, you're obviously hungry for answers and wanting to know, well, how do I make money now? How do I make this a long-term career? And I'm like a big, like long-term thinker. It's like one thing, somebody come in and make a little bit of money for a little bit of time and then they can't recreate it. When I was active in the field, I built 6 companies to the top of their compensation plan 6 different times. So people ask, well, why 6? You couldn't make up your mind? No, I mean, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, company owners made weird decisions and I was forced to make a move. And as a result of having the right mindset, the right skills, all the right things in place, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you can succeed. And I think it's really important for you to understand kind of like what does it take to succeed in this business. Like when this guy's asking those questions, my first answer was, look, I mean, honestly, it's like network marketing on a technical degree of difficulty scale is not that hard. Like one is laying on the couch doing nothing and 10's doing brain surgery. We're probably like a 2.5. I mean, because technically, what do? All we do is talk to people about how they can change their health and how they feel about themselves and how they can improve their financial abundance and their financial future. I mean, what's not to be? That's not a hard thing. And even as I say that, I understand that fears take people over. In fact, my whole brand is the fearless networker, right? So it's not that I don't have fear; it's I'm willing to push the fear aside long enough to get done whatever needs to get done to get that work done. But I know fear, puts a lot of people on stall, causes them to pause, causes them to not do what they set out to do. But when in this interview, this guy's talking to me, I was like, well, I mean, number one is consistently doing the right activities, consistently exposing people to the products and the business or whatever I was marketing, and focus and making sure that every single day I was focused on revenue producing activities, because the reality is a lot of people kid themselves into believing that they're doing the business, but they're not. I mean, showing up for something like this is great. I appreciate you guys being here on a Sunday night, but that doesn't mean you're, crushing it in your business. I mean, it'd be cool if you are, if you're, you go to Celebration or you go to MYKO or something like that, and you go to all the events. I mean, there's people that show up for events but never do anything. So in fact, here's a little reality check. I do this on every platform, and I don't mind doing it literally any time that I talk, even though this isn't the key subject matter tonight. But do me a favor if you're taking notes. This is like a reality check, because one of the other things I found out when I was talking to, or I didn't find out, but I was talking to this guy about it. I said, look, the whole thing about being a successful entrepreneur is accountability, like being personally reliable, responsible for the activities, because, we don't have a boss. Like we're held accountable by other people our whole lives, our parents, our teachers, our bosses. And then we come here and your sponsor's not going to be there to hold you accountable. You have to be the person that gets your butt out of bed every day and goes and does the things that you need to do without being forced or pushed in order to go do it. Right. So, that's something that you got to find within yourself. And if you're not acting, if you're not doing the actions and the activities, and you got to ask yourself, why am I not doing those things? Because that's like your sticking point right there. So do me a favor, just draw a little 1 inch by 1 inch box on your piece of paper. And I want you to put a number in that box. And again, I do this on every platform I speak on. Write in the number of new people that you exposed or talked to today about Isagenix. Last 24 hours, how many new people, how many new exposures? In fact, if, if it's a 0, I get it. It's Sunday, it's family day, it's, relax or chill day or whatever. But I don't think that if you're an active builder in network marketing, that you should ever have any day that you didn't go expose somebody to your products or your business, because that's what we do. What else is there? I mean, if I were to ask you, what else you doing? I mean, what else? That's what we do. I'm either talking to people about the products, talking to people about the business, talking to a team member about helping their person, bring in, so that's all we do. So if it's a 0, that's not a good number. 1, I mean, I kind of feel like if you talk to one person, I feel like I need to take a nap right now. I'll be back in 20 minutes. I mean, it's tiresome, a whole single person, right? 2, 3, I got a phrase that goes along with it. It's got a little ring to it. Double digits a day, keep the commission checks on their way. I've been saying that for like 15 years. Double digits a day, keep the commission checks on their way. Does that mean you have to talk to 10 people every single day? Otherwise, you're not going to be successful? No, I didn't say that. But if you were to track yourself for the next 30 days, and I'm a big tracker, I literally track all of my revenue producing activities. In fact, I log every single call that I make, every single outgoing text message, every single Facebook message, every conversation, I log every single revenue producing conversation. I do it for me because it helps me keep good records. It helps me keep great notes on people, but also I can go look at that and go, how productive was I today? Because if I look at the date and there's not one call for that day, that means I didn't do anything to build my business. And I still do the same things today as a speaker and a trainer that I did in the field as an independent distributor. I just do, my conversations are with top income earners and network marketing company owners for the most part. So I would say that, I would challenge all of you, if you really seriously want to be successful in this business, track yourself for the next 30 days. End every single day. After you're done, you're finished, wrap it up, draw a little box in your journal, put the number of new people that you talk to. In fact, hold on a second. I'm going to give you this. You guys can download this later if you want. I actually have a 30-day box challenge. I'm going to give it to you real quick. I'm going to type it in the comment section. It's toddfalcone.com/30day. And I'll just put that in the comment section. So you can download that, print it out, and you can use that sheet to track yourself for the next 30 days. I guarantee it'll be very eye-opening for you, because if it's 00100102010, that's probably and then you're going, okay, well, how come my check isn't increasing? Well, it's pretty obvious why your check isn't increasing. But if you're looking at 10, 12, 18, 7, 9, 14, 3, 16, 11, whatever, how could your business not grow? Right? It would be impossible for your business to not grow. And I don't know, do me a favor, because I see everybody's like, I know you guys can see me. Unless you're naked, don't do it if you're naked, but turn your camera on for me. I want to see you. Flick on your cameras, please. I want to see you while we're doing this, okay? I want to connect with you guys. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions tonight. I want to work with you and help you guys have a couple breakthroughs tonight. So first of all, do that challenge. It's an important challenge to do. If you do it for the next 30 days, it'll be an eye-opening thing. By a show of hands, because I want to see all you guys. Come on, let's see the cameras flip on. Come on now. I'm here for you. Be here for me. Cool. Here's the deal. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had anybody in your business that called you and they were going to quit and they were going to give up? By a show of hands, anybody ever have somebody quit the business? Oh, business isn't working well for me. Okay, let me give you a little new one for you. From now on, anytime somebody comes to you and they're like, well, the business isn't working for me, the first thing that I always do when I'm meeting with a new person that's complaining about how their business isn't going well is I'm going to say, look, give me an idea. How many people, let's say Angela came to me, she would never come to me with this because I know she's a super producer, but if she did, and she's like, oh, Todd, the business isn't working. Say, cool. Well, let me ask you a question. How many people, can you give me an idea, how many people have you exposed the business to, the products to in the last 90 days? Because if somebody's coming to you and they're saying the business isn't working, I want to help you guys. This is a way for you to coach people and help them look in the mirror and find out for themselves why they're not producing. Typically, almost every single time I've asked somebody that question, give me an idea. How many people have you exposed the products in the business to in the last 90 days? And their answer is, well, not enough. So they already know why they're not getting the result, but they're coming to you complaining. Do you understand? That's insanity, right? Oh, I'm not getting the result, but then they're coming to you and they're saying, well, I have not enough. So they already know what the answer is. So it's interesting how people can get mad at the lack of results that in their business from the work that they never did. How can you get mad at the lack of results in your business if you never did the work? I mean, I understand if you were pounding it for the last year and you're like, man, I have exposed this thing to 1,000 people and I'm producing nothing. Well, then there's a different challenge that we have to look at. But most of the time when I've had people on my teams come to me who are not producing results and complaining about their lack of results, they're just not doing the work, right? Does that make sense to you guys? So that's where I would go when you have somebody, because I guarantee that's very likely to happen. Somebody's going to come to you and say, look, I'm not getting results. That's the first place I'd go. Now, when this guy was digging for more stuff, he said, so you said there was one thing, and you said it wasn't that thing. Well, yeah, okay, consistent exposure, right activities. But honestly, here's the deal, and I'm going to give it to you guys. And I told it to him. I said, the reason I've been so successful in this business is because I'm a relationship builder, period, end of story. And I do things that are different than most people do. And I'm going to give you guys a couple things tonight. You have to understand, why do people buy? Why do people do business with you? People buy stuff for different reasons. They buy stuff because they have a need, a want, a dissatisfaction, a desire. They buy for prestige. They buy because of a fear of missing out, impulse. They buy for different reasons. But the reason most of the time people choose to do business with you is because they like you. They feel good about you. They trust you. It's think about, in fact, do me a favor. Think about businesses that you go to outside of network marketing for a moment. You go to this restaurant all the time, or you always go to this place for coffee, or you go to this place for that or whatever, and write a couple of those businesses down on your notes real quick. And then I want you to think about, why do you go back to those places? Why do you continue to go back to that restaurant? Why do you continue to go back to that coffee shop? Why do you continue to go back to these, to this dry cleaner, whatever it might be? And chances are it's like they treat me well. They take care of me. I feel like I'm a valued person. Like they don't just treat me like, I mean, some of us have gone to restaurants and, I've had a waiter literally threw a menu at me. I'm like, almost hit me in the face with the menu. Like, okay, this is a fun place. Or I was in a restaurant a while back with my buddy, and the service was absolutely horrific. It was like a 4-star restaurant. The service was awful. And we invited the manager. It's like, hey, is there something going on tonight? And it's like, took us like 3 hours to dine. He goes, well, what do you want me to do about it? And he had no solution. He didn't even, it's like he didn't even care. And have we ever been back to that restaurant? No, we've never been back to that restaurant. So I want you to think about like places that you continue to do business with. Why? What are those reasons? It would be good for you to write them down, because those are qualities that you see which cause you to go continue to cater to specific businesses. Same thing with us in network marketing. So when for me, the things that I've done, I just started doing this a long time ago. And I'll give you a list of a few items, and then you can kind of see where you fare in these different categories. And I'm going to give you a little challenge that I think will be kind of an eye opener for you. But like number one, be the most positive person in that person's life. I've just always been a positive guy, and I got stuff, I got issues, but if I always came to you with my issues and just blah, 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 just vented all over you all the time, that gets old after a while. I don't know if you got any friends like that. Any of you have any toxic friends or family members? I do. And like, do you really want to go hang out with those people again? Like, I've literally left family stuff. Like, I got a kind of crazy family. I've left family stuff, and I literally came home. I'm like, I need to take a shower to just get that stuff off of me, because that doesn't feel good. Like I feel dirty, right? And what we do in those situations, we're like, I don't want to go talk to those people. So no drama, no negativity. Not be just if you can be the light of a person's life, and every time that they have an experience with you, they feel better having engaged with you in conversation. That's a step in the right direction. Versus, you can think of experiences that we've had. I'm like, well, gee, I had an experience with that person, but that wasn't very fun. I don't want to do that again. And if that's the kind of person that you're perceived as, even every once in a while, you need to change what you're doing. And so, for example, when I first started in network marketing, we worked out of training centers. So we had an office, and we would show up at the office in the morning. So it wasn't a job, but we were self-employed, and we worked out of a training center, not out of our houses. So we'd show up there, and we were taught early, like, look, we all got problems. When you show up for the office in the morning, get out of your car, lock your door, lock your problems in the car. Come into the office, be super positive, bring it. And then when you go back in your car, your problems will be waiting for you again. You can take your problems home with you if you want, but don't bring them here. And that made a lot of sense to me, because people have stuff, and if they bring the stuff into what they're doing, it's going to have a negative impact on your business. Does that make sense to you guys, right? So that's one thing. Another word, or 2 words, I want you to write this down. Be inquisitive. Be inquisitive. One of the things I learned a long time ago is, the more curious you are, the better off you are. So I was always curious to know how to be successful. So I always asked people questions. If I didn't know how to do something, I would ask a question. And sometimes people, it's like amazing to me how many people play victim role in network marketing. They play like the victim role. It's like there's no room for victims here. This is self-employment. If you don't have the answer, go ask for the answer. If you don't know how to do something, ask somebody until you get the answer, until you figure it out. And so being inquisitive about your desire to create success, but being inquisitive with people is another thing. Like being curious to learn about another person. One of the greatest things, in fact, there's another thing I talk about on pretty much every platform. There's a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. How many of you, by show of hands, have read that book? Okay, it's an awful book. First of all, it's terrible. I mean, think about the title, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Ooh, gross. I mean, now, of course, I'm being facetious, right? How to Win Friends and Influence People. What an amazing title. People say don't judge a book by its cover. I always do, right? I see the title. I'm like, that's a great title. I want to read that book. I mean, I've read so many books just based on the title. Well, in that book, there's a lot of amazing concepts. One concept I've been speaking about on stage for a long time is this concept of being genuinely interested, not interesting, right? So, and in network marketing, it's like when we get started in network marketing, a lot of times we get super excited and enthusiastic, which is great. We should be, right? We're all excited. How many of you have ever verbally vomited on somebody about isogenics? Anybody? Oh, really? Some of you are like, I'm not raising my hand. Most of us have done it. I'm guilty. I'm guilty of it because you get all excited, find this awesome opportunity, find these amazing products. You want to go share it with people. But you just want to tell. And then sometimes we look back, we're like, oh, man, if I could do that all over again with my first few contacts, I would do it all over again because I just blew that one, right? And so, but, well, we can't go go back in time, we can do things differently from this point forward. And some people don't get it. I mean, here's the thing. Prospecting and recruiting becomes super easy when you understand this concept of being genuinely and authentically interested in another human being. How many times have we ever met somebody and they cut you off mid-sentence? It's like you're talking to somebody and they cut you off mid-sentence. Like, I was just explaining something or answering your question. You cut me off mid-sentence. What does that show to that person? You're more important. What you have to say is what more important, and what they're telling you right now, which was coming out of their lips at that moment in time. Oh, you're not that important. Well, what does that do? Do you think that increases the relationship or decreases it? I can tell you right now, it's decreasing the relationship. It's creating a less buyer-friendly environment. We're not on political TV here. This isn't CNN or Fox News. You know, CNN and Fox News, they always have two different sides. They always start arguing with one another, and they're stepping all over each other. And then the guy in the middle or the gal in the middle is like, okay, cut to break. Hold on a second. Okay, shut up, right? And we're here meeting people, engaging people in conversation. I think one of the best things is just being a person that actually shows real interest in another person, because then when you do that, everything that you need to know is going to be revealed to you. They're going to tell you if they're stressed out, whether they don't like their job, or they don't make enough money, where they need to lose weight, they're lacking in energy, they're feeling bad about themselves, whatever it is. All that stuff's going to be revealed to you if you're seriously engaging with somebody. And most people don't do this. Most people are like, let me tell you about me. And they get into this, let me tell you about my stuff. And look, I see you guys everywhere, all you networkers. I mean, I see you in the airports every single weekend when I'm flying. I see the logos. I see the green shaker mugs. I see the stuff. I see the t-shirts. I see I see it. And I'm the guy that'll come up to you if you're 100 yards away and I see an Isogenics logo, I'm going to come up to you, high five, Isogenics, what's up? That's just who I am. And it's funny, like, here's a quick example. I'm on a plane coming back from Dallas to Seattle. And I'm on this plane. I'm just leaving this event. There's a woman behind me in the middle seat right behind where I'm sitting. And she's sitting there and she's got this logo T-shirt on. And I see the logo T-shirt for a company. And I say that I want you to understand that. See the slight difference here. Check this out. I go, oh, Company X. And she goes, yeah. She goes, are you familiar with us? I said, I am. She goes, well, are you on our product? I said, I'm not. She goes, ugh. And she had this disgusting look up. How could you know about our product and not be on our product? It's bilated, chelated, nutrilated. It's massive absorption. Our ORAC values up to here. We've got the doctors and the certifications. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. She verbally vomits all over me, right? And I'm just sitting there standing there going, I'm thinking to myself, can I sit down yet? Are you done? And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, do you know who I am? Because I'm not that guy. Hey, do you know who I am? I'm Todd Falcone, right? No. So I sit down in front of her and keep my mouth shut. I don't say anything to her. I don't tell her, I'm the network marketing trainer guy. I say nothing to her. Now, here's the difference. Here's a slight difference if she understood this concept. I want to pay attention. Oh, Company X. Oh, are you familiar with us? I am. Well, how are you familiar with us? Well, that's interesting you ask. You're actually the very first network marketing company I started with in 1989. Really? Are you still involved in network marketing? Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. Very much so. She goes, well, what do you do? What company are you in? I said, I'm in all of them. What? I teach network marketing for a living. And you know what could have happened? Who's not going to swap a middle seat for a middle seat in an airplane? She could have got 4 hours of free coaching from me, but she had no idea that I was even sitting in front of her. Now, look, let me also say this. I'm not God's gift to network marketing, but I'm pretty good at it after having done it for 30 years, right? I mean, do you think you could probably learn something from somebody who's been, and I haven't been in and out of network marketing. I have been fully engaged in network marketing for 30 years. So if you had a chance to spend 4 hours picking my brain, do you think you'd learn something? I think you'd learn something, but she didn't understand the concept. And look, I see people do this all the time. If you simply, questions, for example, we hear the phrase, ask and ye shall receive. If you don't ask for something, you typically aren't going to get it, or you're going to get scraps. I mean, little things I was on a Zoom about 3 weeks ago. This guy, not a big earner, but he asked me, he said, would you ever jump on one of my team Zooms? And I said, yeah, of course. And he was totally shocked. He said, you would jump on one of my Zooms? I'm like, of course I would. Why? I said, because you asked. If he hadn't asked, I would have never been on his Zoom. If you ask somebody a question, or you ask somebody to take a look, or you ask someone about themselves, you're going to get stuff that's revealed to you, and it's going to give you answers, right? So, a couple things like, here's another thing. When you're getting to know somebody, and this is probably one of the most powerful things that you can do from a relationships building standpoint, is when you find out what somebody's deepest passion or interest is, and you get them talking about it, it's over. Like, have you ever met somebody and you found like something in common, and then it was like, oh my gosh, you guys, the conversation was super smooth and easy. Like, you loved a particular band and they love that same band, and then wow, you guys are just talking all night long. Well, it's the same thing here, but here's the deal. With the people that you know that are in your phone, that are in your contacts, I think it's crucial for you to know what their greatest passion or interest is, because then and only then you can feed it to them. Like, for example, I mentioned before we started this, I had gotten off the mountain today. I spent 5 hours on the mountain skiing today. One of my favorite sports is skiing. I ski, I think today was about day 56 or day 60, something like that on the mountain this year. And for example, if you know that, in my case, Todd really loves to ski, and you were a friend of mine, and you were on YouTube, for example, and you saw this crazy video of this guy skiing, and you thought I might enjoy it, if you just copied and pasted the video and sent it to me and said, hey, Falcone, check this out, figure you dig this, you know what that does to me? It makes me go, oh, you know me. You know me. Another quick example, like this guy, a couple years ago, when I was still living in Scottsdale, I did some stupid post on Facebook about 1970s candies. And like, it was just like a post to get engagement. I know none of you in Isogenics eat candies. You only eat the chocolates, but that salted caramel is so good, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Ooh, it's so good. Sorry, I just had to do that for a second. So I did this post, and then I go to my mailbox about 2 weeks later, and I get this box, and I come into my kitchen, and I open up the box, and the first thing that I see is like a fun dip. Remember that? Like a sugar stick that you dip in sugar, and you lick it. I know, of course, you guys would never do that because you guys are all Isogenics people, super clean eaters. You would never eat sugar. I know. And then I was like, oh my gosh, and I poured it out, and it's all these 70s candies, Mary Jane's, Abba Zaba, Chick-a-Stick, all these crazy things. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? And there's a card, and the card says, hey, Todd, this is Don such and such. I saw your post on Facebook. I took my daughter around town, and we went to some of these old school candy places and put this little care package together. Hope you enjoy it. Share it with your kids so they can have the same experiences that you did. Now, look, am I into candy? Is that like my deepest passion? No, not necessarily at all. But what Don did is he recognized something, and he made an effort. See, the things that I do in my life, and it's not – from a relationship building standpoint, it's not like it typically takes a tremendous amount of effort, but it does require a little bit of effort. So Don took a little bit of effort, and he did that. Well, if Don called me to ask him to move, I don't know how you guys are, but by the time you're like 19, 20, you're pretty much done helping your friends move, hopefully. One bed, it's like one thing is a 1-bedroom apartment or a studio. You get to three, 4 bedrooms, and you're like, you call me to move? I'm like, dude, I'm not going to help you move, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll help pay for the movers if you need help that bad, right? But if Don called me up today, he lives in Texas, if he said, hey, can you come down to Texas and help me move? I would literally jump on a plane to go help Don move, just because of that simple little gesture, right? Because he's separated himself. And when you do stuff like this, it literally creates a Grand Canyon between you and the people that you're going to compete with in the marketplace. And it might seem insignificant, but let me tell you something. It's very significant. In fact, 3-4 weeks ago, I had this other gift that my wife's like, is there ever a day during the week that you don't get gifts? I'm like, yeah, Sundays when the mail doesn't come. So I get this package, and I open it up, and a couple years ago I was Bob Ross for Halloween. Remember Bob Ross, the guy with the big giant hair, painter on PBS, and happy little trees and little clouds. And if you're ever stressed out, by the way, just go watch a Bob Ross video on YouTube, and all of your stresses will go away. You cannot be stressed and watch Bob Ross. It's literally impossible. It's impossible. And so I was a really good Bob Ross. I had this awesome wig, and it was super cool. So I open up this package, and it's these little blue cloud socks with a little cartoon of Bob Ross on it, and it just says happy little clouds on it. I'm like, cool. And I open up the card, and it's my former neighbor from Scottsdale, Andy, and she's like, hey, I was just thinking about you the other day. We were out and about. I saw these socks. I was like, oh my gosh, Todd's going to love these. We miss you guys. Hope all is well. Not my birthday, not Christmas, not any other day. And she just lit me up that day, right? And it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm super into Bob Ross, but she knows I have a connection to that. My point is, when you know things that people are interested in, that you see an article in a newspaper, in a magazine, you see something online, you see a video, you're out and about. Like my sister's into peppers, like jalapeno peppers, every pepper imaginable. Like her house is peppers. And if I go out, like if I'm out and I see something that has peppers on it, I immediately think of my sister. It's impossible for me not to, because I know what my sister's into. When you know what your people are into, people that you're connected to, and you could feed them. And I'm not saying you need to go around buying gifts and spending a bunch of money, but hey, look, a little investment in your business is not a bad idea, right? I mean, $5 socks or whatever, this little thing, or I saw this little thing and I was thinking about you. Is this, and again, does this take a little bit of effort? Yes, it does. But the payoff is people perceive you differently. So now when you're this kind of person, if and when you decide to reach out to that individual about your products or your business, they're going to be far more receptive to you. And let me also help you understand something. If the only time that you connect with somebody is when you want them for something, you're never going to get it. If the only time you call somebody is when you're like trying to pitch them something, you will never get anything. Trust me. Okay. It's not going to happen. So one thing you want to do is you want to be in a habit. It's just like, tomorrow when the bank's open, go to a bank that you don't have an account in. Okay. I want you to walk into a bank tomorrow, a bank that you do not have an account in, walk up to the teller and say, I would like to make a withdrawal. And the person's going to say, okay, sir, can I get your account number? And you're going to say, well, I don't have an account number. Are you robbing us? No, I'm not robbing you. I just want to make a withdrawal. Oh, let me explain how it works. Sir, you start an account, you have an account number, you put funds into the account, then you can actually take money out of the account to the amount of the funds that are in the account. That's how it works. It's the same thing with relationships, you guys. If you don't make regular deposits into the emotional accounts of people that you're connected to, you ain't ever going to get nothing. So I'm the guy. So I grew up in Seattle, Washington, lived in Seattle for 17 years, moved to Long Beach, California, lived there for 10 years, moved to Monterey, California, was there for 10 years, moved back to Seattle, I was there for 8 years, moved to Scottsdale, Arizona, was there for 5 years, been in Bend, Oregon for 2 years. Now you know where I've lived for my whole life. There you go. And in all of those circumstances, my people that I grew up in Seattle with, that I went to school with, my friends from Long Beach State, my friends in Monterey, I'm the guy that stays connected. I'm the guy that's taken the effort to reach out and say, what's up? How's it going? I'm the guy that in many of these cases, these people would, it's easy to lose contact. We are in a relationship building business. We are in a business of connecting with people. And if you've ever gardened before, if you don't take the time to water your plant, fertilize your plant, it's going to die. It's the same thing with relationships. Okay. This is like one of the biggest reasons why I've been successful is because I've nurtured my relationships by making an effort to stay connected with people. In fact, do me a favor, put your cameras on. I see about 7 of you that don't have your cameras on. Throw them back on. I want to see you for a second. Simon, Valerie, Wendy, Lori, Holly, Lori, Alita, whoever you can, do it real quick. We're going to do an exercise. Come on now. All right. 2 things. First exercise I want to do is, if you're not watching me on your phone, some of you are probably watching me on your phone, but if you're not on your phone, pull your phone out. I want to see your phone. Okay, cool. Open up your address book. Do it. Come on. This is an opportunity for you to grow right now. Let's do this. Okay. Open up your address book. Go to the letter A. That's the beginning of the address book. Start scrolling through your address book until you find the very first person where it's been at least 6 months that you've had any contact with them. Start scrolling through. There's no judgment here. I don't want to, the first person that's been at least 6 months. Hold your phone up when you found that person. As any of you was the first person? Happens almost every time I do it. A few of you are like, yeah, it was the very first person. Cool. Now open up a text message to that person right now. Open up a text message, and you're going to send them a text. This is your text. Angela, what's up? Falcone, how's it going? It's been way, way too long. Let's catch up. Or whatever your language is. If you don't say, yo, what's up, whatever, you're going to use your words, and it's essentially this. It's like, hey, Valerie, Todd Falcone, what's going on? It's been way too long. Was just thinking about you. Want to catch up with you. Hope life's treating you well. Let's catch up soon, okay? Whatever your words are. Quick text. Send the text now. Okay. Now here's the thing. What's going to happen? Some of you, your phone's going to ring and they're going to call you because they're like mind blown that you just reached out to them. Don't answer the phone right now. Wait until we're done. Press the red button and send them a text back. Say, listen, I'm just finishing up a meeting and I will be happy to get back to you in a little bit. Someone's going to text you right back. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so glad to hear from you. And some of you are going to get a text back and they're going to go, who is this? Okay. We're going to talk about the who is this thing, because that should never, ever happen. Okay. And we're going to talk about that. So you're going to send this text. Now, so funny. So a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was in New Orleans, and I was at this event, and I had just gotten done speaking. This woman comes up to me and she goes, can I give you a hug? And I love hugs. I'm like, yeah, you can give me a hug. So we're hugging. And she's like, she starts crying, like bawling, crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Are you okay? And she's just sobbing. I'm like, what's up? And are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm good. And she pulls back, and I go, what's going on? She said, last time you were at our event, you did this exercise and you had us do this. That person that I sent the text message to was my daughter, who I had a broken relationship with and hadn't spoken to her in 4 years, not one word. I was scared to death to reach out. I reached out. I've been talking to my daughter 2 to 3 days a week ever since then. We now have the very best relationship we've ever had in our entire life. So you can see how, I mean, even my hair on end right now, every time I tell the story, my hair on my arm sticks up, because that's how impactful it can be. Now, it's not like you're sending the text message and then, I want to pitch you my deal. Let me talk to you about Isogenics. The deal here is you now make it your habit to make regular deposits, to reach out to people. It's like, I'm going to water my Seattle garden. I'm going to water the Monterey garden. I'm going to water the garden over here in Scottsdale. I'm going to connect with these people. I'm constantly going through my phone just to connect. No ulterior motive, no agenda, just to stay connected. Because then what happens is, if and when I were to call any of these people and say, look, hey, I've got this business, or hey, I've been doing this business. Who do you know that I might be able to talk to that would be a great candidate for being an entrepreneur? Those people are going to be far more receptive to that message based on how they perceive you, okay? It's very, very powerful. There's 2 buttons on your phone when somebody rings, red and green, right? You don't have a purple one, right? You got green for answer, red for decline. Is that the kind of phone you have? Okay. Well, guess what? I'm a green button person. Are you a red button or green button person when somebody calls? I guarantee you, with anybody that I know, I ain't a red button person. They pick up the phone. They pick up the phone because they like Todd, because Todd's made an effort. Todd's reached out to them and knows. In fact, here's another funny example. So about 2-3 months ago, I was in Houston, and I'm getting picked up to go speak at this event. And my host calls me up. He said, the limo's picking you up. He said, listen, my dad, his flight comes in right at the same time yours is. So my dad's going to ride in the limo. Is that cool with you? I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. And he goes, I got to tell you this, though. My dad's super grumpy. He's like a grumpy old man. I'm like, okay. Like, no, he's really a grumpy old man, like the definition. I'm like, dude, I can handle it. He goes, oh, but he likes fishing. I'm like, okay, cool, done. So I get in the limo, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? It was Tom Sr. I'm like, hey, Tom, how's it going? Yeah, he was just like, he was definitely grumpy. And I was like, okay, this will be fun. And it was like an hour and 15-minute ride to the hotel. And I said, Tom tells me you like fishing. And his eyes open up, and he goes, no, I live for fishing. I'm like, oh, really? I said, well, what kind of fishing? He goes, bass. I mean, like smallmouth and largemouth? Uh-huh. And the next thing you know, his phone's whipped out. Check out that lunker. Check this one out. Check that one out. I'm pulling out my phone. I'm like, check that one out. Check that. We're like an hour and 15 minutes talking about fishing stories, talking about his private lake, talking about this stuff. And here's some guy that probably, if I, thank goodness Tom told me that he liked fishing, but that's like a hot button. So we got out of the limousine at the hotel. We were still talking about it all the way up until we both got into the elevator to go to our rooms. I mean, we became like the best buddies as a result of having a conversation about something somebody's interested in. So you can see what people are into on social. You can ask, you can find out through conversation. And here's the other thing. Let me ask you this. How many of you think, okay, let me rephrase. How many of you have people in your phone and you don't know who they are? Who's John? Who's Barbara? Who's Susan? Who are these people? You know what? You know how many of those people I have in my phone? 0. There's not one person in my phone that I don't know who it is. You know why? Because I take notes on every single person. Let me ask you this question. Be honest. How many of you, if I were to go through your address book, you do not have notes on 100% of the people that are in your phone? Raise your hand. Let me see you. Be straight. Be honest. Okay? All right. It looks like 100%. Now, here's the deal. Now, I want you to hold your hand up. Ready? Hold this hand up. Come on. Do it. I solemnly swear that from this day forth, Anytime I put a new contact in my telephone, I will always have notes on that person. Who they are, where we met, how I was referred to them, what we talked about, and any other things that might be important. Their birthday, their wife's names, their kids' birthday, kids' names, where they went to school, where they grew up, whatever you feel is important, right? Every time I'm on a conversation with somebody and I'm talking to them, I'm adding a note to the contact record in my phone. So I've got notes on everybody, where we met, who they are, where they're from, anything that's important. This is one of the things that separates me from most people. Look, almost 100% of the people on the Zoom, you don't do that. So now you're going to look at some of these people and you're like, I don't know, have I pitched this guy Isagenix before? Have I talked to them? I mean, especially if you've been in the deal for a little while, you're like, I don't know if I ever even talked to him about Isagenix. Or who's Dave? I don't know who Dave is. If you don't know who Dave is, pick up the phone and call Dave and say, Dave, Todd Falcone, you're in my phone. I don't know who you are. Who are you? How do we know each other? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing, because you solemnly swore from this day forth that you'll never do that again, you'll never have to worry about it again. Because anytime my phone rings, like I was in Salt Lake City a couple months ago. This guy was sitting next to me at a restaurant in between like some seminar I was at. And I heard his name and I'm like, hey, we've spoken before. Because I heard his name, I heard his last name. I'm like, we've spoken before. He's like, we have. And I literally opened up the contact. I'm like, yeah, we spoke on January 17th, 1997. You were in Company X at that time. And he's like, how the hell did you know? How do you know that? I'm like, because I showed him my phone. I mean, most of the time I don't say I got notes on you. But it makes you look smarter. It makes you look more like you care. Do you understand how valuable this is? I'm telling you guys, this is like, I'm giving you guys what I believe are some of the best things that have helped serve me as a relationship builder. Taking notes, making regular deposits, being a person that looks out for stuff for people, whether it's an article, whether it's something of interest to them, whether it's, let's say like I love reggae music. It's my favorite kind of music. If you knew I was into reggae, in fact, I saw Stephen Marley here night before last for my 22nd wedding anniversary. It was awesome. And if you knew some concert was coming into town and that's like my favorite act, you're like, hey, you know what? Such and such is playing here. I just wanted you to know. I don't know if you're going or not, but I figured you want to know about it. And Angela knows me. She's looking out for me. Now I think differently of her as a result of that than had she not done that. Not that I wouldn't have liked her. But now she's a step above where she was in the relationship category. Do you guys understand? These deposits are crucial. And then it creates a situation for you where you're way more likely to do business with people. So like, here's another thing. Like, if you make it your mission to do more than is expected of you, which to me is common sense. Most people give the minimums. That's what they do. They just do what's expected of them, and very seldom do they voluntarily go the extra mile, right? Because I did it. I finished the job. It's like, can you finish the job and do a better job? Like two quick examples that have nothing but everything to do with network marketing. A couple of years ago, I was living in Scottsdale. I had this couple at our house for the weekend. We had this big pool party, and their kid was there, and we had a blast. And then they left, and they had made the bed when they left. And my wife goes into the bedroom to change the sheets because we don't have like other people sleep in the same sheets as somebody else did, because that's just kind of gross, right? Right? So she goes in the back, she pulls the comforter back and the blanket back, and there's a big giant pee stain, like a huge pee stain. And we're like, is that an adult pee stain or child pee stain? It was so big, I don't even know if the little girl could pee that much. And it was just gross, right? And it's like, ooh. And it was wet, and it was just gross. And there's no way you couldn't have seen it, right? But they just made the bed over it. That's like going under the extra mile, right? So we had to like strip the sheets and clean the mattress. It was gross. And look, here's the thing. If let's say you peed the bed, let's say you're an adult and you accidentally peed the bed. I mean, occasionally I guess that might happen. And I peed the bed. Well, if I peed the bed at your house as an adult and I accidentally had an accident, I would feel bad, and then I would strip the bed, and I would gather the sheets, and I would come to you, and I would say, Angela, I'm sorry, I had an accident in the bed. Please don't touch these because there's pee in them. It's my pee. And where is your dish or your washing machine? Okay, fine, no problem, Todd. I understand people have accidents. That would have been fine. Let me ask you this. Do you think they were ever invited back to my home ever again? No, never. They never will be ever again. Never, ever again. My nephew was at my house a month ago. My nephew struggled when he was younger. I think he's almost 30 now, but he had some tough times. He got addicted to heroin. He was deep. It was bad. He had made a bunch of mistakes. He was dealing drugs. He was doing all sorts of crazy stuff, but he's cleaned up and he's moved way in the right direction. I'm so proud of him. He just got married recently. He stayed at my house. And when he left, I went into the guest bedroom, and the bed was nicely pulled back, the blankets and the comforter. He had taken the sheets off of the bed. He had taken the pillowcase off, and he neatly stacked them on the bed. And I went into the bathroom, and the towels that he had used were neatly stacked on the floor, so I could identify it. Now, did he have to do that? Is that a necessity that if you come to Todd's house, you got to strip the bed and you got to pile? No, it's not. But the fact that he took the extra mile is like, oh, I appreciate that. That to me is super cool. You didn't have to do that, but the fact that you did that is Ben coming back to my house? Yeah, he's coming back to my house. Anytime, he's welcome. What does that have to do with network marketing? Everything, because it's all about relationship building. In what ways can you go the extra mile? In what ways can you wow people? In what ways can you surprise the heck out of somebody? I'm a big fan of just taking a handwritten. I have tons of like blank cards in my desk at all times, different ones, different colors, different stuff. And I'll just whip out a card, write a little message to somebody that I'm thinking about and whatever, stick a stamp on it, drop it in the mail to them. And it's not their birthday. It's not their anniversary. It's not anything. It's just like, hey, I was just thinking about you. I hope you're having an amazing day. And what kind of an impact do you think that makes? How much did it cost me? 80 cents between the card and the stamp or something? Who cares? It's the value and because what you're doing is you're building relationship capital. And you're not doing it so, hey, now I can get something from you. But let me tell you something. When you're perceived as a giver, when you're perceived as someone who truly, authentically cares, you're different than everybody else. I mean, it's like most of the people I talk to, they don't take notes on their people. Most of the people I talk to, if I were to go through their phone, they don't make the effort to stay regularly connected. Most of the people that I talk to, if I went through and I asked you and I went through 20 contacts, tell me straight up, what's their deepest passion, biggest interest? They can't tell me because they've never cared enough to ask or to find out. When was the last time you fed that person's passion? And they're like, what? What do you mean? Never? And again, does any of this sound like it's like, oh my gosh, this is really hard to do? None of it's hard to do. It takes effort, yes, but it's not hard to do. So look, my suggestion to you from this point forward is that you look at how you, like, if you understand that people, again, buy from those that they like, trust, and feel good about, what can you do to add to your relationship capital? What can you do to make people feel differently about you? And, a year from now, I'll tell you right now, if you start to do these things that I've suggested to you, people are going to respond to you in a totally different way. They're going to be like, I'll have people that I've had people in the past that weren't even interested in my opportunity, that I presented my opportunity to, that flat threw referrals at my face just because of how they looked at me. They're like, hey, even if they weren't into the product or even if they weren't into the business, I've literally gotten phone calls without even asking, hey, Todd, I've got this person I think might be great for your business. You want to give her a call? The only reason that happens is because of the things that I've done from a relationship building standpoint. And anybody here tonight can do this. But it starts with you making the decision that I'm going to do things a little bit differently than I have in the past. Does that make sense to you guys? Give me a thumbs up if you're going to commit to doing all this stuff because it's going to help you grow your business. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. Real quick before I split. And this is good timing for you guys, and whether you choose to act on this or not, that's up to you. But I am getting ready to run another 90-day accountability program that starts April 22nd. It's called A-Team. I've been doing this for 11 years. It's a group. The best way for me, the best example I can give is it's kind of like, and all you isogenics people I know have done this before because you guys are all into fitness, right? Have you ever worked out with a personal fitness trainer? Raise your hand if you ever worked out with a personal fitness trainer before. Most of you? Okay, cool. So you work out harder with the trainer, don't you? It's impossible for you to not work out harder with the trainer because the trainer's there to push you. That's what A-Team is. So A-Team is a 90-day training program, an accountability program. You learn a bunch of cool stuff from me every week. We meet on Tuesday nights for 12 weeks. You get really clear with tracking your revenue producing activities. I'll tell you this, it is impossible for you to do A-Team and not produce more. You can't do A-Team with me for 90 days and not increase your productivity. It's literally impossible. So if you're in a position where you're like, hey, I would love to step up my game, but for whatever reason, I'm not stepping up to the level that I know that I'm capable of. And if Todd can help me out, brother, I'm game. Let's do it. So I'm going to give you a website address. It's toddfalcone.com/team, TEAM. We literally, in fact, let me just type it in there, toddfalcone.com/team. So we've officially, the page is turned on. Tomorrow, the first email is going to go out about A-Team for the registration. So you guys are literally the first group to hear about it. So if you register before the end of the month, you can bring in a buddy for free. So it turns it into 2 for 1. So it's a pretty cool deal. Like I've always charged the same amount for A-Team for the last 11, 12 years. But if you are in that, if you're smart and you register in that early window, you can literally bring one of your teammates to do it with you for free, and it cuts it in half. So it turns it into a 2 for 1 deal. It's the cheapest way to get me to coach you and work with you for 90 days. And so if you're in this position where you maybe want to do more, but you just haven't been able to get out of that cycle. I don't know if you've ever been in this cycle where it's like, I want to do more, and then you don't do more. I want to do more. Dang it, I'm not doing more. I want to do more. And you're like, I call it the spinning circle of doom, because it's like you can't break free out of these habits, but you want to. And I don't know if you guys can relate to that or not, but I've been stuck in some bad habits and different things, and sometimes you need a little something to break you free. So you'll learn a lot, you'll produce more. All the details are on that page. Check it out. Again, you guys are early to hear about it. So if you register before the end of the month, which I think is in 7 days, if I'm not mistaken, then you'll be able to bring in a teammate with you for free and cut the price in half, which is a super deal. So Angela, I dig you. I appreciate you. I love the pink. I love your leadership. I love your production. I love the fact that you go get it.
I love you, and I appreciate your phone calls and you always checking in on us. And I will say that Ed and I split it last time we did the A-Team training. Ed and he was my buddy, and we split the cost. And for me, it was wonderful to have that accountability. I feel like as a leader, I didn't have that accountability. Maybe some of you guys don't have a coach, or maybe your coach is just busy, or maybe you need a fresh breath of air. It was wonderful to be on this Tuesday night call with people from 20 different companies. We were all in this together. And on this Tuesday night call, Todd would give us a lesson, and then we would all meet back, and we would talk about how our week went, where we struggled, where we grew. But what I love about this program is that Todd has a check-in sheet. Okay. And this check-in sheet, if you don't post up your check-in sheet, you're out. So this check-in sheet makes you document specifically how many people you contacted, how many messages you left, how much physical activity you've done, how much mindset training you've done. And it's something, listen, I'm from the East Coast, I can say, it's something to hold you by the balls accountable. You know, and when you have your own business, we need that, my friends. You are your own boss. And it's like, you know, Monday, you're like, I got to do laundry. Tuesday, your kid gets sick. Wednesday, your car breaks down. Before you know it, it's Thursday, and you haven't gone to work for yourself. You know, and this is our business. And the only way this business grows is if we really put the pedal to the metal and just talk to people. I mean, this guy is having double-digit conversations. I, for one, want to do that. I want to be at that level. And so that's why I plug into Todd. That's why I get into these accountability groups, so I can have the skill set, the mindset, the strength, and really the coach in my corner to pour into me to say, you know what? You had a bad day, shake it off. Tomorrow, you reach out to another 10. And I don't care how far you are in this business, we all have those days where somebody blocks us, somebody hung up on us, somebody offended us, somebody said, you know, poo-pooed on our dreams. Guys, do not let any of that stuff take you out of the game. The people who listen, Isogenics, I got news for you. They don't fire anybody. You can't get fired from network marketing. And the reason why people leave is because they quit. They quit. They don't have the support, the oomph, the accountability to really stay in the game. And I'm telling you, I promise you, when you feel like giving up the most, that's when you're the closest to getting where you need to be. You know, so really just stay in this. We all deserve it. You guys are absolutely amazing. Todd, I just adore you. You're one of my favorite trainers and friends. And I will be in A-Team. So
Awesome. Well, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And just one more thing on A-Team. This is not for somebody that wants to play. So I'm just going to tell you straight up, like, if you're not ready to up your game and do more and create a bigger check and like level up what you're doing in Isogenics, then it's not something you want to do, because it's designed to help you do just that. So I would just warn you, if you're kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of cool, still hobbying this thing for a while, then don't do it. But if you're ready to step up and you need a little help, and sometimes we do need a little help, then I welcome you to come on board. And if you register before the end of the month, you'll be able to bring a teammate with you for free and cut that price in half. So thanks again for having me.
Thank you so much. And contact me and Ed, guys, if you guys are interested in doing it, because we can pair everyone up. This way we all come into this with a buddy. So it's a buy one, get one free kind of thing. Thank you so much, everyone, for being on. Todd, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.